Welcome back. We begin tonight with a release from the police high command calling for persons associated with gangs to turn themselves in. The release issued earlier this evening states that the security forces are embarking on another phase of their offensive against the crime monster. As such, the police are appealing to the following persons of interest believed to be affiliated with gangs in the Kingston metropolitan area. The police want them to turn themselves over to the Kingston and St. Andrew police. From Tivoli Gardens, Denham Town, the police are seeking Sandra Sandy Cook, sister of Christopher Willis Cook, Newton MacLeod, Harold MacLeod, better known as Harry Dog, Danny Banton, Orlando Choi Ogive, David Heron, otherwise known as Reggie. From Kingston East, the police would like the following people to come in: Denai Williams, Kevin Bryan, Michael Murray, better known as Busy. From Waterloo, Spanish Town, the cops are seeking Donald Brown, otherwise called Negus. And from Tavern, Campview, St. Andrew Central, the cops say Christopher Linton, otherwise known as Doc Haw, should turn himself in. Also from Maxfield, West Singers Gang, the cops are seeking Ricardo Winter, also called Government. Uriel James, also known as Rooksby of Rosedown. From Clarendon, Jerome Cunningham, also called Rome. From Spanish Town, Myron Hawkins, also known as Ice. From Rima, Vasilian Lion, also called Irons of 4th Street. From Kingston Central, Anthony Harding, also called Prince Powell. Dennis Duhaney, also called Don Frey. From the New World Order Gang, Timothy Thompson, also called Tino. From 2 Miles, Marlon Bennett, also called Pastor. From the Kathy Allo Gang, Kevin Bryan, Richard Francis, Redhead. Richard Francis is also known as Redhead. Javon Robinson, also called Jab. From the One Order Gang, David Gray, also called Sty of Shelter. Everton Minus, also called Rado. And from the Klansman Gang, Rohan Cesaro, who is considered to be a mastermind behind the Cash for Gold racket in Spanish Town and its environs. The police also add that several other people in whom the police have expressed an interest since the imposition of the limited state of emergency in the corporate area have turned themselves in and have been interviewed and processed. The judge who declared the Northeast St. Anne's seat vacant will hear arguments from the lawyers representing that constituency's former MP next week, Wednesday. Archibald Gordon reports.
This is what they want. No by-election yet, but the party faithful in Northeast St. Anne are making it clear.
We are in full support of her candidacy, and we support her 100%. And let me inform you that our machinery is well oiled for any by-election.
We can challenge this girl, but whatever the final thing is, we prepare to accept. The worst case scenario then will be a by-election.
This is ground zero in the return Shanine Robinson effort. Her constituency office in St. Anne's Bay, Northeast St. Anne. But for the moment, the by-election is not necessary, and her lawyers are fighting it out in court. They spent this morning before High Court Judge Roy Jones asking for a stay of a decision he made on Monday, declaring the Northeast St. Anne seat vacant and effectively throwing Mrs. Robinson out of Gordon House. Only lawyers for the man who brought the challenge, Manley Bowen, had been present when that ruling was made. But today it was a full house in the High Court as both legal teams traded arguments. Mr. Bowen's attorney, Raymond Clarke, argued that the matter should proceed to the appeal court since the judge already made a ruling. But Mrs. Robinson's legal team of Nestor Claire Smith Hunter and Ransford Graham convinced the judge to hear the application for the stay of his decision next week. It's the latest in a series of dual citizenship cases which has forced JLP MPs out of Gordon House and forced some to renounce their foreign citizenship. But in this case, Mrs. Robinson denies holding dual citizenship, and her lawyers maintain the people who brought the case should bring the proof. We put the question to JLP General Secretary Carter Muda this morning when we saw him outside court.
Has she renounced her American citizenship, sir?
Now, as
far as the details of the case is concerned, I wouldn't wish to pronounce on that in any way at all. That's a matter for the court, and the two teams will go at it on Wednesday, and from there on we'll see how it goes.
The JLP General Secretary also maintains that the party is not afraid of going to the polls. He contends that Mrs. Robinson would not be beaten.
Absolutely, and successfully so. We feel very confident in the work that Shanine has done. She has given all of her energies and her commitment to the people of North East Sudan, and we have no doubt as to what the result will be. She will prevail handsomely.
The party faithful in North East Sudan concur.
When I left nothing for this time, just I give them full 100. Clean them up. When I was done this, I want to, you know, nothing more than PMP about that. I was to finish them and bury them.
Archibald Gordon, TVJ News.
Former Government Minister Claude Clarke has written to the public defender asking his office to investigate the death of his brother Keith during a security operation in Kirkland Heights last week. As the family alleges that Mr. Clarke was wrongly killed, the security forces are maintaining that they were responding to an attack. The College Bench reports.
Claude Clarke strongly worded letter to the public defender today expressed in no uncertain terms the anger and anguish he and his family feel regarding the death of his brother. In the letter, he asked the public defender for a speedy and thorough investigation into the incident. Mr. Clarke says he wants the public defender's office to find out how such a brutal and unlawful event could have occurred. He goes on to ask for assistance in obtaining every legal remedy available under the Constitution and laws of Jamaica. Claude Clarke said it was his family's view that a country in which an unlawful act such as this is allowed to go unpunished would not be a country worth living in. But even as Mr. Clarke's family is calling for answers about his death and are accusing the security forces of acting wrongly, the army is telling a different story. Speaking on TVJ's All Angles last night, JDF spokesman Colonel Rocky Meade gave this account of the incident in which Keith Clarke was killed.
The Kirkland Heights operation, as reported by the persons who are on the ground, is that they came under significant fire. 4 of our soldiers were injured, 2 are still in hospital. And they entered the premises, and
Mr. Clarke's premises?
that's right. And the report is that, they defended themselves. Now, the matter is being investigated. We certainly don't have any policy of, shooting at innocent persons. But the residents, if you heard the residents, there was reports of significant gunfire from different directions in the area.
That's all it says. TVJ News.
The police are maintaining that the Tivoli Gardens operation was a success, despite the fact that Christopher Didiscope is still on the run. Senior members of the police force and the Jamaica Defense Force were our guests on All Angles last night. Henry Gale reports.
The Labor Day operation in Tivoli Gardens started as an attempt to execute an arrest warrant for Christopher Didiscope, but when the smoke cleared over the West Kingston community, the security forces spoke of a bigger picture. On All Angles last night, Colonel Rocky Meade of the JDF said the operation took on a greater scope because criminals had launched an all-out attack on the state, and that could not be tolerated.
What you are seeing was organized crime taking on the state. That's what you are seeing. You might put it in the context of serving a warrant, but even if you keep it in that narrow context, organized crime was saying to the state, you don't dare come into this community that we are controlling, even if it is just to serve a warrant. The military's purpose in assisting the police was to say to organized crime, you cannot take on the state.
The JDF took the lead in Tivoli Gardens, and Colonel Meade said that was necessary, as criminals had set up a well-planned system of attack.
They had significant defenses set up. What you saw before we went in is, you could see just a facade. For example, in some of the barriers that you saw wooden crates